What up, Dokkaners? Update version 6.5.0 is now live on the JP side of the game. Global will be getting this in a couple of days. This video is going to be breaking down the new update, mainly just talking about the team building update, because I'm very happy that we're getting this now. JP players already have access to it. Global will be getting it in a couple of days. And then also I want to talk about some updates that we got on the back end in terms of potentially some interesting stuff coming up. So let's start with the update itself, the bare essentials, the surface level stuff. This is mainly centered around Ultimate Clash. Now, the first thing that they're saying here is that this is, by the way, Google Translate. So if it sucks, my apologies. But Google Translate tells us that the implementation of Virtual Dokkan Battle version 3.0 is being planned for release later. So it's going to be renewing 2.0 and upgrading it to 3.0. Now, why that matters is that, well, to me, it matters because long ago, while the pyramids were still young, there was actually a Virtual Dokkan Clash 1.0. The thing about that, though, is that 1.0 never existed on the global side of the game. It was only JP. JP, for one season, I believe, had Virtual Clash 1.0. And their old Virtual Clash was basically kind of like a tower defense or something. I never got to experience that. I remember seeing it. I forgot on whose channel I saw it, but I was like, this is really cool. But then global never got it. And this is also like when I was fresh into the game, I didn't know anything about the game. So I don't even think I could have done it. So while I would have liked to see it firsthand, I know I would have done a terrible job. But that was 1.0. Then it became 2.0, what we know now. And I guess 3.0 is just going to be like a series of quality of life updates. Or I don't know, maybe they're going to actually implement some new stuff. I don't know. And maybe that's going to happen during GDC. But that's not happening yet. Let's talk about what has happened. Change and unlock conditions. The condition for participating in the battle has been changed from rank 150 or higher to clearing the first board of panel missions intermediate. So this was a big surprise for me because I didn't even know that this was a thing. But if you were rank 150 before, that was your ticket into Clash. Now they've made it much faster. Instead of having to wait rank 150, you can just do up to the intermediate panel mission board 1 and you're good to go. The difference is night and day, because in order to get to the intermediate missions, this is for the version Z missions. This is effectively your tutorial series when you start the game, learning about different aspects of the game, training characters, going through the battle tutorial, unlocking your first solid free-to-play team to kind of take you through a lot of the content, and then finally, ultimately, getting a bunch of stones and getting your LR version Z Goku. There are 7 board missions for the first beginner set. Then we've got a couple of board missions for intermediate. Then we got advanced and expert. So intermediate, you got to get past the first board. The only one here that can pose a little bit of a problem in terms of timing is going to be this one. This one will require 1 to 2 weeks, I think. Because yeah, any difficulty of the Pan Secret mission is fine, but there's only 2 levels of difficulty. So if you do 2 of them in one, actually, wait, can you do 2? No, you can only do 1. So I think this will actually take you 3 weeks. But 3 weeks versus rank 150, pretty clear which one's going to be less of a pain to have to deal with. So after you finish this, you're good to go. You'll still have more missions, but you're good to go. I love that update. If you do not meet the new unlock conditions after updating to version 6.5.0, you will not be able to select the button or play in home battle. What? You will not be able to access it through the home screen. Okay. Simultaneous holding of multiple stages. Multiple battles of different difficulty levels will now be held simultaneously. In conjunction with the simultaneous holding of multiple stages, the UI of each screen has been improved. Huh? This is interesting. Okay. Pay no attention to the characters here. That doesn't mean anything. But the way that they're kind of listing it, it kind of looks like a challenge event where like there's just different levels. Now, if I were to guess, maybe this is like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, because we only see 3 different ones here. And we know that this one is 5 stars. This one is 6 stars. Although these have different dates. So I don't know what that is. Anyway, I don't know if this matters because it shows version 3.0. So maybe this isn't actually something we got to even worry about. Oh, interesting. All right, whatever. Let's move on though. Removal of character selection before entry when challenging the Great Battle. Thank you, Google Translate. Character selection before entry is no longer required. A nice change, an unnecessary step that was time consuming, stressing, It was just not needed. Now, instead of having to pre-build your 112 characters, you can just use your entire box. You will still be restricted to 112 characters, but you don't have to waste that extra step doing that extra work for no reason. If anything, this is actually a big advantage, because now, like, let's just say, for example, you bring a bunch of teams, you've got a full Super Saiyan team. You do extra damage against a Frieza fight, and you take less damage against the Frieza fight because of your Super Saiyans, but you lost them. If it were the old system where you had to have your pre-built team all ready to go, and you didn't pack a second Super Saiyans team, now all of a sudden you're gonna have to burn another really good team at a stage that you probably didn't have to. But in your regular box, yeah, you'll have to spend 7 more characters, but at least you can bring another Super Saiyans team if you've got one to do it. So this is definitely not a needed step, and I'm glad they're getting rid of it. But this is the big ticket item. New sorting functions, suitable for and newest, have been added to the character sorting formation or sorting functions. So when building a team in Clash, you're going to see your main lead, you're going to see the secondary lead. I'm assuming you pick the secondary lead after the full squad is set. But what I love about this is now that you pick the character, you can sort by suitable for, this button right here, and you will see all characters that fit and what level of compatibility they are getting. For example, since this guy leads GT heroes at 220%, that means HP gets 220, attack gets 220, defense gets 220. So the reason why you're seeing 660% here is because all of these characters are getting the full effect of this guy's leader skill. Therefore, they are all operating at 660%. That's what this is. Doesn't say the word full compatibility, doesn't say max compatibility, it just does the math for you. So you're gonna have to keep an eye out for those numbers. So if this guy was a Dokkan Festival, instead of Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, he was the Int Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and that means we're actually gonna be rocking a 250% attack stat, or a 250% health stat, and then the attack and defense will be 220. So instead of 660 here, full compatibility would be 690, because 220 health plus 30 more gives us 250. So you have to look out for 690. So you're gonna have to be at least be mindful of a little bit of math, but otherwise this is a very good update. You could be at differing levels of reading comprehension. It might be difficult to see some words because dyslexia might jumble them around. Maybe you have difficulty memorizing what certain characters can do in terms of their leader skills, and it's just too annoying to have to go back and forth. Like, I personally have struggled with this issue. I cannot sometimes remember every single character's leader skill. Like, if I want to remember, here, let's pull up something. Let's pull up something. What is a crazy set of leader skills? This dude. This guy leads 3 primaries and 3 secondaries. That's insane. Superheroes, special pose, battle of wits, movie heroes, accelerated battle, bond of master and 7. Let's just say I want to build this team. Okay. So now I'm not using any external resources. This is just Dokkan, right? Okay. I got to look at it. Superheroes, movie heroes. All right, bet. Let's first start by putting together that team. Superheroes, movie heroes. Now I'm going to be going through, bringing whatever I want. Okay, next. I got to go to the next one. It would be superheroes, and what's the other leader skill? Now I got to go back. Accelerated battle. Okay, now let's go do that. Let's remove movie heroes. Let's go accelerated battle. This is time consuming, this is tedious, and it's not necessary. Now, some would argue it should be, and if you want to play that way, that's fine. The point of a good game is being able to account for every sort of player. Accessibility matters. Making a game streamlined to all levels of players, that's what makes the game better. And so that's why, while you may feel, believe it or not, some people have actually not agreed with my take that I like this. This is cool, and you can continue to do it this way, but other people shouldn't have to. If they want to make this go faster, they should. This is a game about collector, like you're collecting units with a ton of characters and a ton of possibilities in terms of team building. You shouldn't have to suffer because you have to sit down and do the due diligence. That's a little much. So that is the math behind this. I love it. I hope that they can eventually extend this beyond just Clash. For now, I guess they're starting with it, kind of like what they're doing with like Frontier, where they showcase, or not showcase, but test out certain mechanics. I hope that eventually this can be a regular thing, because I very much love this. I think I'm still going to ultimately use like team builders, because team builders will help me with no new units specifically. Like if I want to run, oh, perfect example, Realm of Gods, dude. Realm of Gods, as of right now, doesn't exist in terms of usable character. Like this physical UI Goku, I can't use him because he hasn't returned in an official capacity. He is not coinable yet. Until he isn't, or until he is, I have to run alternate options. So this isn't a function you can do in Dokkan. If I want to run him as the friend lead, I got to bring this guy's the main lead. Now I can see everybody who fits on these leader skills. Realm of Gods, it's very easy. but for more obscure categories where there's a lot more mixing and matching, it can be problematic. So ultimately, I'm probably still going to be using this more often, but this is still a good step in the right direction. I'm glad they're doing this. 3.0 Clash will be released at a later date. Revised Dokkan Frontier mission clear conditions. The mission clear conditions for Dokkan Frontier have been revised so that missions can be cleared even when a special guest is included on the team. That is awesome. If you don't have LR Physical Ultimate Gohan, you can run it as a friendly, you can still get the mission done. That's huge. That's another good step in the right direction for Dokkan Frontier. Okay, awesome. Added support for Game Center achievements. That's iPhone, that's iOS. I don't really care about that, but hey, if you care about achievements on that, that's cool. Fixed other bugs as a token of our gratitude. Okay, fixed other bugs. That's all it is. All right, so a lot of cool things to look forward to in this update for global players. JP players, y'all already got this, but I like what I'm seeing. That's pretty cool. So now before we wrap this up, I wanted to also talk about the back end side because there's a little bit more going on behind the scenes that I wanted to chime in on here. So we have a bunch of new lines of code that people were talking about, mainly the data heads. New strings. There are just, these are just the new strings, not complete info for a potential new mechanic, more info later. This was as the data download was coming in on the JP side. Now that we have it, there's a little bit more information, but this is what people were taking exception to. Time bomb. What the heck is a time bomb? What is shielding? What's going on there? So that was the big question. People were thinking maybe a new mechanic is coming up for GDC. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen, but it's possible because GDC is now the biggest celebration of the year. Well, for this year, and it's going to be the biggest celebration of all time. So maybe it is going to be a new mechanic. Usually new mechanics happen during the anniversary, but maybe they're changing things this time around. I don't know. So this is where we first saw it. When I saw Time Bomb, the first thing that I thought of was the Doomsday Clock mechanic. That's my nickname for it because there's never been an official term. The reason why I called it the Doomsday Clock is because it was a big DC Comics event, and I thought that was a really cool name. It sounds very ominous and scary. So I've always been calling it the Doomsday Clock mechanic. I've shortened it down to the Doomsday mechanic. People know what I'm talking about. The first turn, the character counts 3 and 2. So a couple of the attacks are spent just giving that ominous warning. And then the second turn, you get a 1 in the middle and you get 0, the apocalyptic event that happens at the very end, right? And normally, the way to deal with that is either you cancel it, you dodge it, or you kill him before it even happens. So what I was thinking was they are giving this a term and it's called Time Bomb. And then I was thinking in terms of shielding, this could potentially be some sort of a way to counter the Time Bomb mechanic, the Doomsday mechanic. So my idea, again, this is not confirmed. This is all just speculation. We'll probably find out. Well, we'll talk about it in a second. We'll probably find out in Frontier. But my thought process was shielding offers a way to counter the Doomsday mechanic. Let's just say Beast Gohan's Doomsday mechanic happening turn 2 now comes with a focus gauge, where if he gets touched up enough and it disrupts his focus, it breaks the entire mechanism and he doesn't do it. So it is now up to you to land 10 unarmed hits so that he breaks concentration, or hit him with enough key blasts where he breaks concentration, something like that, which can either disrupt it or maybe shield you from it, something like that. That was kind of my thought. So after the data download dropped, Rick once again chimed in, assets possibly related to the Time Bomb mechanic. Looks like this might be a boss mechanic specific to survival mode. That's Dokkan Frontier. So maybe shielding is a survival mode specific mechanic that protects players against the Time Bomb on the player side. This is all speculation, we don't know, but the fact that we're seeing the mechanic sort of legitimizes it even more. They have changed phrasing and terminologies in the past. Most notable example that I personally struggle with is disrupting enemy action. That wasn't a phrase that I just made up, but nowadays, when you see a character that can counter or cancel, you don't see cancel. You don't see disrupt enemy action. What you see is interrupt the attacked enemy. Example would be Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. This guy, when he launches an 18 key super. Oh, where's the 18 key? Oh, actually, wait, no, they didn't. Disables enemy action. Yeah, this is how it's phrased here. But then other characters have interrupt the attacked enemy. Maybe is Android 21 someone who does that? Let's see. Android 21 interrupts the attacked enemy. It's the same thing, disrupts enemy action. You are canceling one thing, but the phrasing has changed. So that's kind of what I was getting at here. That might be what this is. Since it's Dokkan Frontier related, we probably won't find out until the Dokkan Frontier drop happens later on tonight. So at that point, I'll let you know. So look out for that video. But that's about it. I wanted to talk about this as well, just to get you guys aware of it. This could also, even if it's just regarding Dokkan Frontier, maybe there's more that they're going to be doing with it down the road. Maybe for GDC. Maybe, you know, I don't know. Time bomb. What sort of a time bomb mechanic could we see for, you know what? Perfect example. Namek. Planet Namek was sort of on a ticking time bomb. It was, you know, countdown to explosion. Goku had to kill Frieza and get out of there before it was too late. Maybe this could have something to do with maybe Namek Saga. If Namek Saga gets an LR or two, this could have something to do with that. Who knows? Just want to give my thoughts on it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, obviously like down below. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on everything that we've discussed in this video. What do you think about this new time bomb mechanic? What does that mean to you? What are your thoughts on the new streamlined way to team build in Clash on the JP update? You guys looking forward to this on the global side? Are you still going to be using the external resources like Dokkan Stats, Dokkan Database, or does this change the need for you to even resort to those resources? Anything else you want to talk about? Feel free to do so in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you're going to see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.